Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Kris. So, I just got back from my little trip. I did some shorts for Cahokia Mounds, the original Daniel Boone grave, and the grave of William Tecumseh Sherman. I'm going to do little videos on all of those just so there's better context of why I visited those places. But that's for the future, which will be soon. I've just got about 11 videos that I have to get through. More than that. So, we're going to get back into this. I went back, I don't know, 15 seconds or so. And video.
Issued a decree declaring that the Roman Empire was not, it wasn't just that Christianity was the official religion. It wasn't just that Christianity was the state's religion. It was also the only religion. Non-Christians were no longer welcome in the empire. Jews and pagans.
Right off the bat.
People ask me all the time.
Of course. I'm going to get YouTube Premium because you can't have a ad blocker.
Pagans needed to convert or leave. And when that happened, the Archbishop of Alexandria, Archbishop Theophilus, issued his own decree asking the Christian population of Alexandria to go ahead and get rid of the pagans and the Jews. They went to the Jewish quarter. Alexandria was the largest Jewish city on the planet. Alexandria is where the Septuagint was made. So the second Greek pharaoh, Ptolemy II, Ptolemy Philadelphus, had such a large Jewish population in Alexandria that couldn't speak Hebrew, so they didn't know how to read their holy texts, that he decided to commission a Greek translation of the Old Testament into Greek so that the Greek-speaking Jews living in Alexandria would be able to access their holy texts. So he got 70-something rabbis, we don't know the exact number, and he made the Septuagint, which means 70. And the Septuagint was because he had 70 rabbis translate the Old Testament so that it could weed out bias and error, and they would merge the 70 translations into one so they could get an accurate translation. We have since found the Dead Sea Scrolls, which were older, but not by much. I think they were 200 or 300 years old. So now we have the original Old Testament material in the original Hebrew, and we've compared them. You don't need to change your translations. The Septuagint is spot on. It was an amazing translation. In other words, he pulled it off. The mob goes to the Jewish quarter and just begins massacring the Jews. When they're done destroying the Jewish quarter, which won't be inhabited again for another 1,500 years, they then go and try to find the pagans. The problem with the pagans is they were intermingled with the Christians. So you just literally had to knock on doors and go, "Are you pagan?" Pretty much everybody is going to deny it. So then you go, "Who are your pagan neighbors?" And then right now you can find out, because people will rat each other out. It's hilarious. Just ask the Yugoslavs when they decided to kill each other in Bosnia-Herzegovina. They then go to the Great Library. The Great Library was run by a woman named Hypatia. Hypatia wasn't actually technically a pagan. She was a theist. So she did believe that there was an entity who created the universe, a single entity, but she didn't think that anybody could know its nature, so she rejected Christianity. But the majority of the students at the Great Library and the majority of the professors at the Great Library were in fact pagan. And so the mob decides to get rid of the Great Library, and they destroy it. But we, as a society, get lucky, because before they destroyed it, by a few decades,
The pages were
there was a
fireproof?
Persian emperor who got jealous of the Great Library. His name was Shapur the Great. Shapur wanted his own great library. He defeats a Roman emperor, Valerian. He captures 2 intact Roman legions. He sells one into slavery in China, takes the money from the sale, and then he uses that money and orders the Roman legions to build him 2 brand new cities. One of them is Gondishapur. In Gondishapur, he builds an academy that will be the Persian equivalent to the Great Library. And he starts collecting books. He's having trouble getting Roman books because the Romans and the Persians hate each other so much, but he's having no trouble getting Chinese texts and Indian texts. And so he's adding those to the Persian knowledge. Lao Tzu, he gets Lao Tzu, one of the greatest philosophers in human history. Not him, but his books, right? Lao Tzu is 600 years earlier. But he gets his books, which is amazing, because when Qin the Great unifies India, he bans Lao Tzu and starts wiping out Lao Tzu's works. But now there's a place for them to survive. When the Great Library is burnt, a group of Romans decide to recover, and they do it at the Academy of Athens. When they do this at the Academy...
Sorry. I really just despise this thing.
Of Athens.
Okay. So, this is an off-topic question, but what does it take to be a philosopher? I mean, you're just sitting around like, why does the wind blow? And then you just think about it? You don't question the person next to you who probably farted? I'm kidding, okay? But is that all they really did? They just thought about things? That's all it is to me. I'm terrible at knowing that stuff.
That gets banned. So they get some of the books together at the Academy, but Emperor Justinian goes, nah, we got rid of the Great Library, we don't need an academy to replace it. Those Greek scholars in 529, when the academy is banned, grab all their books, they jump on a ship, they head to Syria. They cross Syria, they get to what would roughly be the Iraq-Syria border today. It was roughly where the Roman-Persian border was. And they approach the Persians and they say, we want asylum. And the Persians go, yeah, of course. Who would want to live under Roman rule anyway? These guys are crazy. And they go, yeah, not for us only. We want asylum for our books. And the Persians go, your books? And they go, yeah, we're bringing everything we have left that hasn't been burnt by Christian mobs.
And they're like, welcome, you and your books. Please, come in, come in.
And the Persians go, oh, come with us. And they take them to Gondishapur, and they take all those books and they merge them in.
I mean, as soon as they said books, you knew exactly. No, you're not welcome here. Books? Yeah, come on in. No. I was just joking. You come on in. Yeah. We've got this thing. It's a place for all the books. And you, my friend, have bought yourself a ticket in
Khusro is the guy who does this. So now at Gondishapur, they have all these Roman and Greek and Egyptian works, and they're sitting there with all these Chinese and Persian and Indian works. And they kind of recovered the loss of the Great Library a little bit. Rome and Persia keep fighting. They do one giant slugfest in the early 600s. It's a nasty, brutal affair. The Persians capture Turkey, Syria, Palestine, Egypt. It looks like Rome is going to go down in a ball of flames. But the Romans somehow get out of it, in part because one of the Persian generals decides to rebel. He takes the chunk of Rome that he captured. He creates a third little empire. Eventually he invades Persia, overthrows the Persian emperor, becomes the new Persian emperor, and is stabbed to death a few days later. And the Romans are like, wow, whew, because militarily it was touch and go there for a while. And then something amazing happens.
Just imagine how stupid you have to feel to have overthrown something, declared yourself the new emperor, And you're like, no, I got a lot of things I want to do. And other people are like, mm-hmm, as they're sharpening knives. You're like, listen, I've got a ton of things that I want to do. And the guy standing behind you's going, uh-huh, yeah. No. Keep talking. It's fine. And you're like, what are you doing with that knife? Oh, I didn't expect that. Where's this coming from? Yeah, that has to, you fought so hard to take over an area and they're just kind of like, yeah. Oh, you're in charge now? Here, let's see how your insides do against this sharp blade. Poke. Not very good.
There's a new religion, and it's Islam. The Prophet Muhammad dies in 632. That year, the Caliph, his follower, the first ruler after the Prophet, orders that the Arabian Peninsula be conquered and unified. For the first time in Arab history, the Arabian Peninsula was ruled by a single state within a year. That same year, 633, Abu Bakr launches 2 armies at the same time, simultaneously. One into the Persian Empire, one into the Roman Empire. Outnumbered, outmanned, out-technologied. There's no way the Arabs should prevail. Within a few decades, they completely conquer the Persian Empire. It was 1,200 years old at that point. Can you imagine a 1,200-year-old empire? You can't comprehend it not being there.
I can't comprehend splitting an army. I mean, if you have, I mean, like he said, they were outnumbered. Undermanned was the only thing that was coming to my mind, and then overmanned, and I thought those two, I don't know what the hell those mean. He's outnumbered, so he splits the army. If you're outnumbered, well, I don't know if he was outnumbered if he had both the armies together, but irregardless, you split your army, you're just inviting disaster. And I say that, of course, but Robert E. Lee also did the same thing. He split his armies from time to time, and he won. But he was also he won. Give him during the Civil War. I give him props for that because it was some bold decisions, and he was going against people that he knew how to beat. They weren't the best Union generals, but still, he took the risk. He split the army, and he won. I don't care who you are. That's a giant risk to take. Because failure, you know, if you separate your army and you have, let's say, 3,000 people taking on 10,000, and your total army is maybe 12,000, and you're splitting, you're keeping some here, you're keeping 4 here and 4 there, and then 4 there. That's 12. And so you split, and now you're 4 instead, or taking on 10. If those 10 win, let's say those 10 get knocked down to 5,000, but you've lost 4,000. You took a big hit. If you would have focused maybe 8,000 or matched up 10, and you still get beat, well, that's one thing. But splitting your army, that's difficult. I don't mean to harp on this, but it's impressive to do it. If it wins, it's brilliant. But most of the time, it doesn't seem to win. So it seems stupid. But it succeeded, so it seems brilliant. But it was a stupid risk to take. You see where I'm going with this? It's just a loop.
They bring the Romans to their knees. They don't finish them off. But by the time they're done, so from 633, the moment they start the conquering, to 711, the moment they've conquered Spain. They owned everything from Pakistan to Spain and Central Asia. They built the largest empire in human history in just a few decades. 60% of the world's Christian population. The empire itself was 2% Muslim. but it owned 60% of the world's Christians. It was an empire of Buddhists and Hindus. There were even some pagans hanging around, and Zoroastrians. The Arabs were a strange conqueror population because they weren't forcibly converting people by the sword. They weren't mass genociding whole populations. They weren't enslaving 1/3 of Gaul. They did fight in France, just for the record. 725? That's the year stuck in my head. It's probably wrong. The Battle of Tours, also known as the Battle of Poitiers, against Charles Martel. And the French win, just for the record. But the Arabs, as they were retreating, carved off Narbonne and continued to rule a piece of France for a few centuries. These Arabs were actually were humble. So when they conquered Persia, they went to the Persians and they went, dude, we don't know how to run an empire. This is way over our pay grade. We just started ruling ourselves. We don't know what we're doing here. You guys are amazing at this. What we need you to do is keep running the empire. We don't even know how to mint coins. The first Arab coins show 3 men standing next to each other. They're holding a cross in one hand and a globe with a cross sticking out of it. So they got a cross in both hands. Because they took the Roman mint and they just began counterfeiting Roman coins. In fact, the word fulus, which is the word for money, comes from the Roman folus, which was...
What would you think if you were just conquered by a new upcoming power who then immediately tells you, we don't know what the hell we're doing, man. Look, all we did was just fought the war. We expected to win. Then we won. But it's all this other stuff now we didn't anticipate. So can you do us a favor? Just do us a solid real fast. You just pretend like you didn't lose. You did, though. But you keep running the empire, but you're running it for us. And do your thing, but just remember that we're in control. But you're in control for things because we don't know how to be in control. So we're going to watch you be in control and then decide when we want to take over control. This is all very complicated. But if you don't do it, we'll kill you. I would be sitting there going, kill me. Sounds good? Yep, whatever you need. I'll bring train loads of powdered sugar to you. I don't care. Whatever it takes to make this not go in here and then out through the mouth and then be led around like I had a knife popsicle sticking out of my mouth. Whatever it takes to continue this whole breathing and living thing, I'm fine with it. You just let me know when you're planning on killing me, and you just give me new shoes and a heads up, and I'm fine. I'm out of here.
One of the coins that they were counterfeiting. Those Arabs walked into Gondi Shapur after conquering it. And they turned to the Persians and they went, what's that? And the Persians go, it's an academy. The Arabs go, cool, what is that? They go, it's a repository of all the knowledge of the world that we know of. And the Arabs go, show us. And the Persians go, what choice do we have? Take them in. And the Arabs go, teach us. And the Persians go, what choice do we have? We will. It takes a while. It doesn't happen right away. But in the 8th century, Al-Kindi begins converting these texts from Greek to Arabic. And that's a huge leap because now it means a larger portion of the population can start to read them. A guy named Al-Khwarizmi, a Persian, a Muslim Persian in the Arab Empire, decides to start focusing heavily on Hindu mathematics. Al-Khwarizmi invents algebra and Arabic numerals. So the next time you're doing math, remember to thank Al-Khwarizmi that you're not using an abacus to do Roman numerals, which are impossible. Really try. Set up Roman numerals, put a minus sign under it, and try and subtract Roman numerals from Roman numerals. You'll tear your hair out. Forget multiplication and division. Al-Khwarizmi creates a math system that you can work on. He's so advanced, he invents algorithms 1,200 years ago. In fact, algorithm was the Roman attempt to say his name. Al-Khwarizmi, algorithm. So every time you say algorithm, you're actually saying this Persian philosopher's name. Then, in the 10th century, there's a...
That's pretty cool. I don't care who you are, that's pretty cool.
Guy named Farabi. The Romans call him Farabius, or Al-Farabius, because the Arabs called him Al-Farabi. Farabi realized that he had a problem. He wanted to talk about everything and anything under the sun. He wanted no limits. He was a polymath. He wanted to talk about psychology and politics. He wanted to do astronomy. He wanted to do religion. He knew he was eventually going to step on somebody's toes, and he was going to get it. So what he did was he wrote all the books he wanted to, and then he put it in his will that when he died, they would get published. And so as a result, we don't really know as much about him because during his lifetime, he spent it as like a gardener. And what he would do is he would garden at the palace, and he would listen to all the political conversations inside, pretending that he's tending to the roses or something. But in reality, he was writing it all down. He's going to ask really strange questions, questions that maybe not many folks had asked before. So when the Persians made their empire, they did something completely unexpected.
I think I'm gonna...
Guys, do your wife a favor this year by getting her a unique...
No, she doesn't deserve it. I'm tired of that lady. I don't have one, so it's easy for me to say that. I'm gonna go another minute or so and see if he continues with him. Of course, why would it?
Completely unexpected, completely bizarre. When you would get conquered by Kurosh the Great or subsequent Persians, you weren't subjugated, enslaved. You became a partner of the empire. In other words, you were in a good place being conquered. It wasn't that horrible, which is strange because that's usually not how it is. In fact,
I'm going to go ahead and go back a little bit because I think he's probably done talking about Mr. Algorithm. We'll go to there. Okay, so we just went back like 48 seconds. Okay, this was part 6. And it's over. So, the next video I'm going to show you a little treat before we start the video. You'll find it very fascinating. But, till then, you can subscribe to the channel. You don't have to, but you should. You can also donate to the channel. There's a thanks button. You can donate. You don't have to. If you donate, you can request videos. They move to the top. You don't have to request videos. Some people just throw some money at the channel and say thank you. And I say thank you. I appreciate it. And you can give a thumbs up. So on the Cahokia Mountains, one of the shorts that I did, I got like 4 thumbs down on one of them, talking about Cahokia Mountains. And I was like, you didn't find that interesting? I showed there was a wood henge and all these things, and people apparently are like, don't like it, thumbs down. Yeah, don't want to learn. Learning's terrible. So to the thumbs down people, I just want to say that YouTube is doing this new thing, and it's called catching a spear with your throat. So you just kind of open up your mouth and you're tied in this position, and then a bunch of us stay about 10 feet away, and we just chuck spears at you as hard as we can. We try to get it into the mouth. Sometimes you hit the body. It happens. We do this on a secluded island. in international waters. YouTube has a whole island. So, oddly enough, the guy who shows up the most to watch us, Johnny Depp. Who would have known? He's a big fan of the thumbs down games, as we like to call them. So if you want to get an autograph from Johnny Depp before you're stabbed to death with spears, then come on out, give a thumbs down. But if you don't want to, then don't do it. And until next time, have a good day, have a good night.